First of all, I am a huge wrestling fan. And if somebody were to ask me, develop a show and make a wrestling show, this would be it. This is the perfect show for an entryway for the mainstream and then for those hardcore wrestling fans. But Michael, I have a question for you. As growing up as a fan of pro wrestling, and I'm sure that you were a fan of pro wrestling too, where did the idea and where did the idea for heels come from?
Well, it came from that. Yeah, certainly. It came from, I was obsessed from the time I was a little kid. My parents, somehow we got Bash at the Beach illegally on our satellite dish, and I remember watching it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat against stunning Steve Austin as a very little kid, and I was off to the races, much to my parents' chagrin. And so, the idea for the show was born out of a lifelong affection for wrestling, and I wanted to explore not just the dark sides of the sport, although we certainly go there, but celebrate maybe the more aspirational parts of it, the camaraderie between the folks in the locker room, and the fact that wrestling is an artistic medium,
Right.
That everybody, they're storytellers, and they're in the ring, performing theater. It's show business, and that's something that I think a lot of people don't quite understand, and it's fun. I think I look forward to folks maybe starting to realize that that's who these wrestlers are. They're not just athletes, they're artists.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Mike, there's something charming about wrestling during the territory days, specifically in the South, and even more specifically in Georgia. Now, I know this show isn't in the territory days, but it does take place in the South, and in Georgia. It has deep-seated roots with wrestling, with Georgia Championship Wrestling and the Crockett promotion. What went into the decision to make Georgia the place where the DWF was, or DWL was?
Yes, and I want to say, just before I answer that question, there's 3 more episodes available. I think they're going to get those to you.
No way.
3 episodes that you can watch, which I think, 5 has a cage match in it, and 7 is just insane because we go to Florida wrestling dystopia. And I think you're going to really, really like it, knowing as much about wrestling as you do. Candidly, it was set in Georgia because that's where Michael Waldron's from. And one of the reasons I wanted to be involved in this show is that when I read it, I thought it was such a authentic sense of place. And I liked how you have these guys who are living in a place that you might have been portrayed as not necessarily a place. And there's great Southern writers, right, all over the South. My favorite writer, one of my favorite writers, Pat Conroy, is from the South. But you don't, there is you don't see stories about creative men in this way. You haven't seen a lot of films or television shows about them being creative, men who look like this, men who carry themselves this way, but are really trying to knit a community together in the storytelling that they're saying, the thoughtfulness. One of the things that we tried to do in the Spade household, both in Jack's house and in Tom and Carol's house, was that there's books all around. These guys are storytellers. Now, this is the container, this is their medium of storytelling, but Jack is a serious man. And I actually think that one of the things that's exciting about this show and the future of this show is that the writing that Jack can do for these characters and the performers, who they are, and being able to carry some of this material can really expand what wrestling can be, I think.
I completely agree. And I've seen all 4 episodes you guys already sent 2 times already. And I absolutely love the show. It's so good. And it's deeply layered. The characters are deeply layered. So look, guys, congratulations on the show. It is amazing.